This list is insane. I don't know who came up with this list, but we have to talk about it. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Rings and Things, the home where banners aren't optional, they're tradition. So ESPN just came out with its power rankings, and these power rankings are for the entire NBA, and they are ranking all the teams post free agency, all the moves that have happened from the draft, from any trades, and to all the free agent signings. And we have to talk about the first iteration of this power rankings list, the top 10 teams that they have ranked. And we'll go down the list and we'll talk about how insane this list is. But let's take it from the top. Coming at the number one spot, and it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, is the OKC Thunder. The reigning champions, the defending champs, we can say that, right? The season is officially over now, and the quote-unquote new season has begun, according to the CBA. And I fully agree with the OKC Thunder being ranked number one. They were able to bring back everyone, and on top of that, they're a super young team, and they were able to climb that mountaintop, which is to be able to win that Larry O'Brien. And they were tested at every round, and I think the sky's the limit for this team. They're only going to continue to get better. They will get better. This is probably the weakest they'll ever be. The second team on the list. Now this one came a bit of a surprise to me. And the second team on the list were the Houston Rockets. I actually like the Houston Rockets. I like what they're building there. I like Ime Udoka. I like his system. I like the players. They all fit his kind of system that he's been building, even the system that he built that is being replicated from the Boston Celtics. I'm not all the way there with the Houston Rockets, and here are a few reasons why. I still think the Rockets are a young team, and the trade that they made for Kevin Durant wasn't something that took a lot out of their depth. They are still able to, I'd say they're probably going to be one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. They can throw any wing, literally any wing, at any player, any opposing player in the NBA. And to be honest with you, they at every position probably go 2-3 deep. But here is where I think they're ranked a little bit too high. And I will say that all the teams that are on this list, in my opinion, and I don't know what the metrics, the analytics, the parameters that ESPN used to curate this list, but the list here is razor thin. Outside of OKC, I mean, you can put them in a tier by themselves, but the teams after that, I feel like, they have their strengths, but they also have their weaknesses. And it's razor thin, in my opinion. Where I fall short in terms of ranking Houston Rockets at number 2 is I just think that as great as Kevin Durant is, I don't think he's able to lead his team to the promised land at this point of his career, at this age. And if you look at the last few years, he has not done well with adversity. So when you talk about the West, and if matchups don't fall perfectly for you, you may face an OKC Thunder in the second round, or maybe a Denver Nuggets. And now you're going up against the best in the world in Jokic. And what now? So that's where it's a combination of youth, and it's a combination of Kevin Durant just being a little bit older, and I think him being your number one guy, it's going to be challenging in the later rounds. I still expect a very deep postseason run for them, but not at the level of being ranked number 2. Now, the next team on this list is where I personally would rank number 2. And honestly, if you made the case and the argument to put them number 1, I would not argue against it. And it's the Denver Nuggets coming in at number 3. Now, I just alluded to it. You got best in the world, in the NBA and the world, in Nikola Jokic, who is a walking triple-double and super uber efficient player, reads the game like only the greats have done, and the likes of LeBron James, Magic Johnson, in terms of his vision, his passing. This new GM that's come in, he's made the right moves in my opinion. Brought in Cam Johnson, so removed Michael Porter Jr., who was hit or miss, a space cadet on defense, not the best player, but the dollar amount that he was garnering in terms of his contract was way too much, right? And you turn that into additional cap space plus Cam Johnson, who I feel will be an excellent fit on this Nuggets team. He's just going to be a player that, number one, is a dude. He's a rotational guy, starter for sure. He's not going to make mistakes, and he's going to hit big shots. Now, there are injury concerns with Cam Johnson, but the same can be said with Michael Porter Jr. with his back. I love the other signings with Bruce Brown and even finally getting a backup center in Jonas Valanciunas, but I will caveat that with the fact that it didn't seem like he wanted to stay in the NBA. He was ready to get out of America, get on that next plane to, I believe it was a Greece team. He was ready to run. And, I mean, who knows what his buy-in is for this season. I know he's come out in pressers to talk about his future, and he's going to play out his contract, but you never know. You never know what happens behind the scenes. So I personally would rank the Nuggets number 2. And I would be remiss to say that the Nuggets did push the OKC Thunder to 7 games last season. And I feel like there were some inflicted wounds that Denver let go of a few games. I believe it was game 4 and maybe game 6, if memory serves me correctly. But you could really easily attribute those losses to the fact that the Nuggets didn't really have a bench. They didn't have a true second unit. So going back to the signings and trades of Cam Johnson, Tim Hardaway Jr., who is a microwave scorer. You bring Bruce Brown back in, Jonas Valanciunas. So you got almost a secondary lineup now where the Nuggets didn't really have that. And they were relying on a lot of these first-year, second-year players. So it'll be interesting to see. But I expect big things for the Nuggets this year, and I would put them at number 2. Coming next on this list are the Cavaliers. Man, I've had a tough time buying into the Cavs, and every year the season comes and they just dominate. And I really liked the coach last year and the scheme that they ran, and that was probably the most bought in I was. And I love the moves that they made and bringing DeAndre Hunter at the trade deadline last season, and the leaps that we saw with Evan Mobley. We know Donovan Mitchell. We know how Spida gets down. Evan Mobley and Garland and Jarrett Allen is a stud. So the pieces and players and you mix that in with the starters and the second unit, that's all there. But for some reason, they hit the playoffs, and they have yet, in the Donovan Mitchell era, they have yet to make the conference finals. Now, is this the first year they actually make the conference finals? Who knows? With the Celtics out of the picture, with the Pacers out of the picture, is this the year that they have enough experience, enough cohesion? Second year of Kenny Atkinson as the head coach, is that enough? Maybe. I think ranking them number 4 is fair enough. And if you're just talking power rankings and you're talking of a super weak East, yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the position that they're in. Up next, after the Cavs, the ESPN power rankings, we have the New York Knicks coming at 5. I actually really liked the signings for the Knicks for this upcoming season. I liked the Jordan Clarkson move. You bring in another veteran, microwave, go get your own type of shot, self-creator. I think he's going to pay dividends for the Knicks, not only in the regular season, but, he could play some big minutes here and there. And, given the matchup, Jordan Clarkson could show up. The other player that I really liked, which was a sneaky sign by the Knicks, and I totally expected him to go back to the 76ers, was Yabusele. Yabu. I thought that he would go back to the Sixers, or there were rumblings that he would go to the Spurs or the Nuggets, and I'm like, this dude, one thing I will say about him from watching him in the Olympics last summer and also this past regular season, this dude is a dog. He has high IQ. He plays with a ton of effort and impact. And those types of players, that fits perfectly into this Knicks team. They're a team that plays with a lot of heart, a lot of effort. And I really think the change from Tom Thibodeau to Mike Brown is going to be a big one. I think Mike Brown and his scheme and his play style is going to fit really well with this Knicks team. So I'm on board with the Knicks coming at 5. This next team coming in at 6 is the Minnesota Timberwolves. And what I will say is, although they didn't make a ton of moves coming from last year into this year in terms of free agency, what I will say is I like Ant. Ant is a dude. Ant is a guy. He is that traditional two-way player that will take the assignment, the difficult assignment on the other team, and go defend that guy 94 feet. He will do that. He plays with that kind of old school mentality and he's got pride, and he's only getting better. The fact that he came into last season, increased his volume from the three-point line, and still shot a crazy percentage from 3 just speaks to his growth and his development as an NBA player. And I really believe that that's going to continue in terms of momentum. The other two pieces that are actually important for Minnesota, I feel that, I'm a Lakers fan, and I've been talking a ton about the Lakers. Coming into the first round of the playoffs, I favor the Lakers against Minnesota, the Minnesota Timberwolves. But what I failed to understand and really buy into was the data to end the season by the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think there was a 24, 28 game stretch where Julius Randle was finally healthy. DiVincenzo finally understood what his role was on this Minnesota team. And Chris Finch really kind of figured out the right buttons to press with the team. Now, I think their biggest loss was Alexander Walker. But I also believe in a lot of their rookie and sophomore talent that they have drafted in the past years that could potentially step up and really round out this team, really give it an offseason for improvement into next year. Now, this is where I feel the list gets really interesting. And I think this is where the list gets a little insane and could be, ESPN doing its thing to get those clicks, right? Because at the end of the day, these types of lists, these types of, articles and whatnot, it's all about the dollar signs. It's all about the money, right? So the next team that they have on this list is the Los Angeles, the Clippers. How the hell do you have the Clippers as the 7th ranked team in your power rankings? Now, no disrespect to the Clippers organization. I'm really always impressed with the moves and the Moneyball targets that they come up with year in and year out. I really respect Ty Lue, and he knows how to run a tight ship. But I don't have the data in front of me. But if you go on your own and you go to Basketball Reference page and look at this roster that the Clippers are going to employ next year, just go do it. And look at the ages of each player. This damn team is a retirement home. You have a 37-year-old, you have a 36-year-old, you bring in an old Brook Lopez. And not to mention, Kawhi Leonard can never stay healthy. Like, we need to just drop this assumption that you will get a healthy year and healthy season out of Kawhi Leonard. And I love his game. He is, again, fits into the mold of a type of player that I loved watching, which was Kobe Bryant, that two-way menace, mid-range assassin, always in triple step in terms of their offensive games, and then that mentality to guard the best player on the other team. But you can no longer assume that Kawhi Leonard can stay healthy, whether it's the regular season or the playoffs. Now, the Clippers have done a great job supporting the team around when Kawhi Leonard misses games. However, I think the West is going to be so tight that the West is going to be so tight and competitive. I think those opportunities will not be as consistent as previous seasons. Now, I'm going to add this too, the Bradley Beal element. If you ask the Phoenix Suns how the Bradley Beal experiment worked, what's their answer? Yeah, it wasn't good. He still wants to start. And you bring back Chris Paul. Lob City 2.0. I don't know. I don't buy it with the Clippers, man. I just don't. I think they're going to be a good team. They have a ton of talent, and there's flexibility with the team. But in terms of ranking them, power rankings wise, I think it's a little too high, in my opinion. Now, this is an interesting one. This team coming in at 8. We got the Orlando Magic. So this is the third team in the Eastern Conference. So I'll just remind everyone. Cavaliers, the Knicks, and then the Magic. So that rounds out the top 3 for the East, which I buy. I buy into that. I'm all about the trade that they just made for Desmond Bane. I don't really care about the cost. When you like a player and you know he fits a certain role and a hole that you have on the team, you make that trade. If you're real about winning and you want to get far in the playoffs in the postseason, you make that trade. And you bring in Bane alongside Franz Wagner, who's going to improve. Paolo Banchero. Hopefully, the biggest question mark with me with the Magic is, and I think Bane kind of fills the gap a little bit, but the Magic did not look like the same team when Jalen Suggs did not play basketball for the Orlando Magic. And if they can find a way to keep him upright and for him to play the regular season and be healthy in the playoffs, that's going to be a dangerous team. That will be a dangerous, dangerous team. Because, again, you got a ton of athletes. You got a ton of players with skill and chemistry. And I believe in these Orlando Magic. Now, do I expect them to win the title? No, not really. But I think they're destined to go deep. And they're destined to go far. But, again, these are just power rankings. Power rankings post-free agency. We have to keep that as part of our lens. All right. I said in the beginning of this video that this list is absolutely insane. I said it. Why did I say it? Here's why. I said it because this is a power rankings list for teams post-free agency. The team that they have listed at number 9 is the Golden State Warriors. Can anyone in the comments below, anyone have any idea of what free agency moves the Golden State Warriors have made? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to hear a response or see a response just because I just want to be petty for a quick second. What the hell have the Warriors done to be ranked number 9? What? They have made 0 moves. They are waiting out this Jonathan Kuminga situation. They're pigeonholed to this right now. They cannot make any free agency moves until they figure out what happens with Kuminga and who put themselves in this position to begin with. It's Steve Kerr and the Warriors. Why draft these players in the lottery if you're not going to give them the proper development? Just trade them picks. As MJ once said, F them kids. F them kids. F the picks. You should have traded those picks to build with Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Klay Thompson when you had it, the chance. But you didn't. You wanted to do this 2-timeline thing. And now, look. You're stuck. You're waiting out this Kuminga thing, and then you're going to bring in 40-year-old Al Horford into the Warriors. And I love the fit, but I mean, he's on the other side of his career, no doubt. And he's also mulling over retirement. So, like, is he going to be all the way there? Like, the second adversity hits and the team starts losing in this daunting Western Conference, maybe the energy's not there. And I think the other free agent that they want to bring in is DeAnthony Melton. And I like Melton. I think he was one of the better guards available in the market, and I wanted him for the Lakers, but we got Marcus Smart, and I like Marcus Smart more. You can say things about injuries, but both players have been injured. Yeah, Marcus Smart is older. DeAnthony Melton is younger. I don't care. I like what Marcus Smart brings to the table, on and off the court. I like his energy. Would have loved to have both, but ranking the Warriors at number 9 is a bit ridiculous, and it kind of pains me to the core. But again, ESPN is just thinking about clicks and dollar signs and everything. So let's move on to the last team on this list. It's the Lakers. It's the Los Angeles Lakers. And look, I did this earlier, but if we are just talking about Western Conference teams from this list, let's do a quick count in our right here. We got the Thunder, we got the Rockets, we got the Nuggets, we got the Timberwolves, we got the Clippers, we got the Warriors, and then we got the Lakers. So essentially you're saying that the Lakers are a 7th seed. So the Lakers finished as a 3rd seed last season, 50 wins. They didn't have a center. They traded for Luka Doncic, who was obviously shocked and sad and, let's be frank, out of shape, fat. Not this new and improved Men's Health magazine Luka Doncic. Revenge Luka, skinny Luka, slim Luka. Dude, he's coming for the league. He's coming for all of you. He's coming for the entire league. So I think the Lakers got better. Let's just do a quick exercise. What players left the Lakers and what players came in to this next year's roster? No more Alex Len. He's unplayable. Shake Milton, unplayable. Jordan Goodwin, he was nice. But is he reliable in the playoffs? No. And the last person, Markieff Morris. And his brother is in big trouble right now. So I think it's probably good that he's out of the NBA so he can provide support for Marcus Morris because he's dealing with his gambling and all that fun stuff. Those are the 4 players that have left the Lakers. Now let's review quickly the 4 players that came in. DeAndre Ayton. That's an upgrade. Marcus Smart. That's an upgrade. Jake LaRivia. That's an upgrade. 3 dudes that are playable in the regular season and the playoffs. Jake LaRivia, I will say, I'll take off my rose-colored Lakers glasses for a second. Jake LaRivia hasn't played in the playoffs yet, but I do see, in my opinion, and again, I'm taking the glasses off, that he can play his way into the rotation in the playoffs. Maybe as a 2-shift guy, he comes in with the second unit in some semblance of the first half into the second quarter, and then another shift in the second half. But who knows? I mean, there's the upside is there for him to kind of grow into more of a prominent role on this team. And then the 4th guy they brought in was via draft, Adu Thero, who I'm really excited for, who's just a legit like 1% athlete. I put him in the Derrick Jones Jr. kind of mold that JJ Redick and Luka are going to try to get him into that position, and he's super versatile on both ends. He's a two-way player. The only thing he can't do is shoot because his hands grew like 3 or 4 inches from his freshman year in college to from high school to college, I'll say. His hands grew, so like now his hands are bigger, so he's adjusting and getting used to shooting a basketball. But I think the form is there. I think the shot is there. Just needs to practice, right? Like the one thing you can't do is you cannot teach athleticism, and he has athleticism. So all in all, I think the Lakers got better. I think you give JJ Redick and the staff a second year to work with this team, and you add that cohesion, that you add that chemistry. And then to top it all off, I never saw LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves firing on all cylinders. I never saw it last year. Maybe there were flashes of it, but I never saw it in terms of a complete all-around game. And I believe, you know, when you have the IQ of Luka and LeBron and Reeves, and you put them in a gym, you put them through training camp, they'll figure it out. They will get it, and Luka's coming. MVP Luka is coming. So I believe the Lakers should be higher on this list. I don't want to be Homer. I'm not gonna put them like top 3, top 4, top 5. I think they're probably in the 7 to 8 range, to be honest with you. And I just had Jovan on the pod last episode, and we just talked about the range of outcomes for the Lakers, and we ranked them, 4 maybe the ceiling, like everything kind of, hits right, every swing is a home run, but 5, 6 is probably where we really believe the Lakers would land. And that's barring, no other moves, right? This is given what the team looks like today. Now, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, shorter episode. I really wanted to get in front of the camera and the mic and just give my thoughts, unsolicited thoughts on the ESPN's latest power rankings, which I think they're honestly total dog shit. But give me your thoughts. Let me know where you guys think the Lakers should be, and if you actually agree that this list is insane. Thanks, everyone. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for content like this. Take care. Peace.